Hi, Dr. Ruth here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to bring your work in from courses that you have taken. It's just the same as bringing in text and images as we've already shown. So these are skills that you will be able to master quickly. I'm going to open the document that we've been working on. So I'm up into the ribbon, File, Open, and I saved that last one as Sophomore Portfolio 3. You do always want to save by different names and keep your original work because sometimes you'll want to go back to that. So I do encourage you to, every time you work on a project, to give it a new name. And that will also be helpful with packaging. So here's the document that we've been working on. You can see we've got it opened out to 11 pages, and we've got our cover page, and we've got this theme that travels through the document and helps it to be cohesive. We've got 2 pages set for digital marketing, and we've got 2 pages set for industry analysis, and those are the pages that I'm going to work on. And then we also have these 2 down at the bottom, and one of the things that we can do with these is I'm going to use my Shift key so I can select both of those. So I left click on that first one, and then I hit my Shift key, and I left click on this one, and hit the trash can, and those are gone. The other thing you can do, I'm going to hit a Control Z, is you can left click and drag and throw them in the trash. So this is the page I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to double click on that in the Pages panel, and that's going to bring that page up. I already have a title for it, and now I want to show the skills that I've developed. We have a written document from this course for your final, and you have Excel charts. Now remember, we have a master applied to these pages. And that master is in the Pages control panel up at the top. That I've double clicked on. That is what the master looks like. You see the little dotted lines around it. If I come on to page 2, I can see the little dotted lines around it. If I come down to page 6, I want to turn this into Master B to reflect the look I have for this one. What I would do is I'm going to Control minus to bring that page into view. I have my black arrow tool, and I'm going to marquee the whole thing. I'm going to edit, cut. And what we want to do is come to B and edit, paste in place. And now that is B master. We can see that A is still attached to this one. So if I left click and bring down B, now both sides have B on them. And I'm going to come to this page, page 8 and 9. And actually I'm going to delete the artwork from this as well. I could just delete those pages. You can see it's got A attached to it. And what we're going to do is left click here on B and left click on B and drag it over the top. And if we say none, that would take that back down to be a blank page or apply B. And sometimes it can be helpful to have a master for each cover page, but it is not necessary. We are going to bring in work from industry and statistical analysis. We have both charts and graphs, as well as a written document associated with the final for this course. And you should look through that and think about what you know and what you would want others to know. You may look at your charts and graphs and go, hey, I really wish I had have made those better, or maybe I know something more now. And take the time to alter those. Now, this is in the middle of a term, but at your senior level portfolio, that is what you'd be doing, is you will be improving your work. But you also want that to be a lesson of this course. The work that you produce is what you're going to be able to show people. If in your courses you do not give it your all, then that's what your work looks like to an employer as well. So decide when to start practicing doing your job well. I encourage that time is now. One of the first things that you want to consider is the title. You can change this title to represent your statistical analysis skills. I have just clicked into this text box, and I'm going to just type in fashion industry. On this page, I'm going to show fashion industry analysis. So fashion industry analysis, now I want to think about what kind of images I would like to bring into this page, what my written document says. So as I bring in text for this area, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the tools. I'm going to grab the big T for the text tool, and I'm actually going to draw a big text box across the bottom with staying within those margins that are there or close to that. And I'm going to go out to a Word document that I have. I saw this sentence, the degree of competitiveness is high in the fashion industry. And I thought I would come in and do a copy, so Control or Command C, and then come back into InDesign. I already have the cursor in this text box down at the bottom here, so I'm going to Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac. I'm going to paste that sentence in, I don't recall what font we use, so I'm going to click right into Fashion Industry Analysis, and I can see its title right here and the size of it in this area. So what I'm going to do is come down and select this and make that be that same type. So I'm going to go to a 30 and see what that looks like. And the way I'm using this right now is kind of as a tagline that runs across the bottom. Simply by deleting, just hitting the delete key from that position on my keyboard. Competitiveness is high in the fashion industry. I've got this, I'm going to go get my black arrow tool. I've got this just about anchored between these two, but I'd like to get them tightly in there because I'm going to center this. I went to click back into the text because it wasn't showing me that, but I want to center that on the bottom of the page. I'm going to get my black arrow tool again, and I'm just going to kind of position this and get able to bring this down. I can see actually too something that I hadn't noticed earlier, and that is on the master, that this master is not out onto the bleed for B. So I'm going over to my control panel, I'm clicking into the master, and I am dragging that out to the blue line. All right, so green. I'm going to do the Shift W on my keyboard so I can see what that would look like. And so we have fashion industry analysis. Competitiveness is high in the fashion industry. Now what I'd like to do is show a chart or charts that demonstrate the competitiveness. I'm going to press Escape to leave that mode. And now I kind of want to go find something from those charts and graphs that shows competitiveness. In order to get a graph out of Excel and into InDesign, you have two choices. You can use a snippet tool, which you can see at the bottom of my screen here, and I'm opening up. And if you type in snipping tool and download it, you will be able to do the exact same thing I'm doing. This automatically, when you're opening it for the first time, has new. And all I want to do is, and maybe I do want to keep some of that Excel page in the background. I think that's kind of interesting. If I press new again, I'm just back onto the document. And if I wanted to, I could really get tight in here and only bring out the black part of that. And so that's what I have. File, Save As. And then I'm going to go to the folder that I've been working in, because remember, it's very important to keep track of your images as you are doing this work, because we have not packaged our portfolio yet, but InDesign does use links. So these documents are not embedded in your portfolio, they are linked to your portfolio. So keeping track of them is a really good idea. What I would encourage is to create a folder that is called Images and just save all the images in that folder. And so I'm going to select that, and retail sales will go into that folder. Now I'm going to go into InDesign, and I'm going to File, Place. That image is in Software Portfolio 3, Adding Content, and there it is. So my cursor is loaded, and now I want to drag this out. One of the things I want to make sure on this page is that somewhere I write in Excel so that my skills in Excel are noted and shared with anyone looking at this. And maybe I want to bring in a fashion image, and so I would go out onto the web, and so I may want to pull in a logo from one of these stores. I'm going to select this one, right click, and I'm going to save image as, and Tilly's.com coupons as a JPEG is fine. And I'm going to again go into that folder where I'm keeping track of my images. And then as I come back into here, and I think, well, maybe I would like to go with columns across the bottom, File, Place, and go straight out to get that image from that folder and bring that in. And I'm just going to click it because I figured it was kind of small. And maybe I will, this would be one of those great moments where I want to use the image frame to have it be that instead of the image, that's the size of the image, and I'm able to just cover it up. Now, the one thing that I'm thinking about is my layers, because I'm bringing in an image, and as soon as I think about bringing in an image, I really want to figure out what layer I'm on, and we know that I've already kind of agreed that I would put those on the images layer. So I am going to select this, which I can see is on the background. I'm going to Control X to cut it, and I'm going to come to the images layer, and I'm going to go into edit, paste and place, so it'll go right back where I had it. Now it's on the images layer, and I actually will lock the background layer so that nothing starts moving on that layer. As I think about laying this out and maybe putting the companies that I researched across the bottom, my thought is that it might be a good time to put in a margin guides in order to help me do that. And I could do that by clicking in the margin over here and just drawing a line out. That's not necessarily what I want to do right now. I'm going to control 0 because I went off my page, and that brings it right back into focus. But what I am going to do, make sure I'm on the page that I think I'm on. I'm going to come up into the menu, and I'm going to go to layout and layout margins. And I can come to this, and since I'm thinking maybe I'm going to put in 3 companies, maybe I'm going to put in 4 companies, that 4 columns would probably be the way to go. So I'm going to just click that number and increase it to the number that I think it should be. And remember that if I shift W, I'll see how this is starting to look. This looks really blurry. This is another example of the links. And the links are images that are linked to it. Therefore, they don't show in full format without blur. And that's something to consider. And if I do a Shift W, we can actually see that it looks pretty good. I might want to think about changing the image of this, because I can see that this white on gray is difficult to read, and it's just simply because it's graphic design difficulty. The higher the contrast, the easier it will be to read. So that's something that I may want to come back into that and add. I'm going to hit the escape key so I can come back out. And again, I may be coming in and bringing in images across here and text down at the bottom. And now that I've got the columns in there, it makes it easy to do. So I could draw in a text box because I think I'm going to put some text in there. And I'm going to do the same over here. And I could just get this all laid out right now. And then whenever I'm ready to put in text, I can just come to any of these boxes and put that in there. This one's not quite the right size, so I'm just going to adjust it there, and it's the same size as the others, and I think everything's laid out pretty well. So there's more work to do on this page, but I may come over to this page and decide maybe I want this title on it. And you can see how I'm using the lines that are showing from the other side. That's telling me it's aligned with the top of that. And if I keep moving left to right, I'll start seeing when I have it right in the center of the page. So that's right in the center of the page. And again, a Shift W, that's what that would look like right now. It makes me question the side on the right. That's exactly what you should be doing, is questioning what you've got there. So I want to do the same type of thing here, is figure out how I would lay something out. Is there another tagline from the document that would go on this page, or who knows what you would do, but you're going to do some combination of images in the form of charts that would go into this document.